Doc Ock, coming at you live and direct from Black Facts Headquarters Central. Greetings today. We got a brand new day coming up. It's 12 o'clock noon or a little bit thereafter. And we're going to bring you a little bit of joy and a little bit of laughter along with another installment of our story of the month about Ethiopia, land of our fathers. So, before we get started, you know what I'm going to do. You probably can say it for me. Matter of fact, don't say it for me. Just do it. Like Nike says, just do it. Go ahead and give us a like, a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so already. And in the meanwhile, and don't forget, share with your friends and your family. Got to make sure to share with the family. Now, let's see. Interesting. Okay, now here I got a proverb here that would really seem antithetical to those of us from this Western who think with a Western mindset. And the proverb for today is, to spend the night in anger is better than to spend it in repentance. To spend the night in anger is better than to spend it in repentance. Now, somebody asked me, was I going to explain all these proverbs and what they meant? And my answer is definitively no. I'm not going to do that because that takes all the fun out of it. So I'm going to let you go ahead and ruminate on that one. And I will do likewise, because I'll tell you right now, that one is kind of cryptic to me. It's definitely outside of my way of thinking. To spend the night in anger is better than to spend it in repentance. And that is a proverb from Senegal. So maybe we're going to have to find a Senegalese, somebody from Senegal, to help us interpret that one, because that one is definitely different. To spend the night in anger is better than to spend it in repentance. And be on the lookout. Tomorrow, we're going to start a whole special series of key Swahili proverbs. So those of you who love key Swahili, who like key Swahili, who would like to like key Swahili, who would like to learn some key Swahili, April is going to be your month, because we're going to do a bunch of stuff in key Swahili. I got some key Swahili stories coming up. I got some key Swahili proverbs coming up, and I may even try to tackle some more of those key Swahili love poems that I was reading earlier this month. But they were some real tongue twisters, so I had to take a step back and regroup. But I will return to the key Swahili love poetry, and then we'll hit it again. But in the meantime, we're going straight to the highlands of Ethiopia. Highlands of Ethiopia. And today we are on chapter 15. And the Princess Zunda and Dick Welland and Bill Sifton, our three intrepid adventurers, are in the highlands of Ethiopia. They've just jumped out of an airplane onto a mountaintop and don't have any way. They have no idea of how to get down from the mountain to where they're trying to go. They were met there by some Italian pilots. These Italian pilots or Air Forcemen jumped out of an airplane and were strip searching them. So they're standing there stark naked. And the Princess Zunda is on the ground about to be abused by the leader of the Italian group. Dick Welland has already been beat by a man. And all of a sudden, something happens. Let's see what happened. Chapter 15. The two soldiers beside Princess Zunda released her in their fear and amazement as the agent sprawled at their feet, a neat hole in his forehead. They reached to pick him up and then stumbled over his recumbent form and lay silent, little trickles of blood appearing from holes in their heads. Oh, so somebody done shot all three of them in the head. Okay? They're a good shot because they missed the princess, but they put bullets dead in the middle of these dudes' heads. Damn. It's a hell of a story. Damn. Forgetting Dick and Bill, the other soldiers rushed around like bewildered chickens, one after the other. They fell in their tracks as death mysteriously halted them. When fully half of them lay dead, the others threw down their rifles and ran in panic in all directions. But faster was death. No sound came to disturb the stillness of the summit of Abrahadestum. But one by one, the Italians perished on the sun-drenched mountaintop until not one remained. Dick and Bill looked at each other, wondering incredulously. These deaths were uncanny, unbelievable. They looked about, neither saying a word. The princess was not too amazed to hurry into her clothes. The two men followed suit. Then they heard a whistle. They started in fear, gazing all about the summit of this weird pile of rock which loomed above the surrounding mountain peaks. We better get out of this place, yammered Bill, looking around fearfully. Again came the strange, chilling whistle. Dick looked to the right at a row of stunted oaks about 100 yards away. Unable to believe what he saw, the whole row of trees moved to one side, sliding easily and revealing a long, narrow gap in the rock. Now heads appeared, woolly heads, black heads. Then gigantic, slender Negroes in dirty khaki appeared to the number of a half dozen each, bearing long rifles. They wore heavy mountain shoes, wrapped leggings, khaki shorts, and shirts. Leading them was a tall, dark, brown-skinned man armed with a wicked-looking .45 caliber pistol. Don't move, the princess cautioned. Like somebody had to tell him that. The three awaited the arrival of the Negroes, who stepped nonchalantly over the bodies of the fallen Italian soldiers. The man with the pistol approached the princess, saluted, and spoke to her in a strange tongue as he lifted his hand in salute. After a minute or two of animated conversation, she turned to Dick and his valet. Dick, everything is all right, at last. This is Gustav Handem, chief of Bishop Handem's bodyguard. She spoke to the tall Negro again. He came forward and shook Dick's hand gravely. Then he pointed toward the narrow trench from which he and his men had just emerged. We're to go down there, the princess explained. Gustav Handem stalked into the trench. They followed him. His soldiers brought up the rear. Dick and Bill looked at the dead Italians. The tall Negro, turning, noted their questioning glances and smiled grimly. He spoke to the princess. He says, the eagles will take care of them, she explained. Yeah, because, eagles are a bird of prey. They eat carrion. Okay. Like vultures. Eagles are just one step away from a vulture. So, and just so you know, that's a side note. That doesn't say that here in the book. The trench was very cleverly contrived, a slot cut in the solid rock of the mountaintop. The scrub oaks were planted in a thin patch of earth on two slabs of neatly fitting rock, which slung outward and backward, uncovering and covering the narrow trench at will and screening it from view from above. Gustav Handem descended the narrow flight of stone steps that described a spiral deep, deep, deep into the earth. They followed him, feeling their way in the Stygian darkness. the Ethiopian soldiers clumping down behind them. They heard the slabs of rock above move back into place. It was a long, silent descent. Rather difficult for Dick and Bill because they had their bundles and the passage was so narrow. Dick experienced a strange, exhilarating excitement. They were approaching the end of their journey. In a few moments now he felt sure they'd be in the presence of the strange monarch of the mountain, the mysterious Bishop Handem, the protector of the Treasury of Ethiopia. The tall leader halted. Dick heard a tap on wood, followed by 4 short taps. There were answering taps. Gunther Herdem muttered a few words in Amharic. He's using the communicating telephone, said the princess. What, a telephone here? Asked Dick incredulously. They're not as backward as you think, she replied, a trace of pride in her tone. You saw how they killed the Italians, didn't you? I saw them die, but I don't know how it was accomplished, Dick confessed. That's got me guessing too, Bill mumbled. Their rifles are equipped with Maxim silencers, she explained, and telescopic sights. The silencers are fastened to the muzzles of their rifles. The telescopic sights are fastened to the barrels just ahead of the chamber. Thus equipped, the rifles make no sound discernible more than a few feet away, and the telescopes pull the target right up close. They heard Yamaru's machine gun blast, saw the smoke bombs in the plane through one of the bushes in camouflage. But then the Italian squadron came and they stayed down until it went away. Well, I wish they'd come a little bit sooner, said Dick ruefully, wincing from the pain of his wounds, and saved me from that beating. The sound of sliding bolts ended all conversation. A door opened silently. It was heavy, at least 6 inches thick, and studded with iron. Beyond was a much wider flight of stairs. As they passed through the doorway, they noticed that on each side of it stood a gigantic Negro in pure white robe edged with gold. The 2 giants wore rude leather sandals. Each one was holding a shining automatic in his right hand. They saluted Gunther Herdem as he passed. Down the stairs they went, stairs lighted by 2 rude torches that filled the place with acrid smoke. At the bottom of the stairs, the leader gave a command. The second door, wider and higher and thicker than the other one, was flung open. After much shooting of bolts and bars, Gunther Herdem marched through. They followed him and found themselves in a chamber about 12 feet square, hewn out of solid rock. There were 2 doors to this stone chamber, lit by 4 torches. In the ceiling was an air duct. The walls were hung with rich blue and gray striped cloths, and on the floor were leopard skin rugs. Along the 2 side walls were long carved benches. The leader spoke swiftly to the princess and looked at Bill. Your man will have to stay here, she said to Dick. Only freemen and lords may enter the presence of the bishop. Bill is considered a slave by these people. Who a slave? Growled Bill, belligerent. Never mind, you stay here, Dick ordered. I guess they won't eat you. I wouldn't know, Bill observed, looking at the lean giants surrounding them. These jokers look mighty hungry. The princess and Dick laughed as he sat down on one of the benches and pulled out a cigarette. And yet they were far from being at ease. They had survived everything so far, but what would their reception be by the patriarch? Or what would be their reception by the patriarch? Are you sure you have that ring? Dick asked anxiously. Yes, I have it. But for a time there, I thought I wouldn't. Where is it? Dick was curious. If the Italian agent hadn't been able to find it on her, where could it be? I don't think y'all want to know the answer to this question. I don't think y'all ready. Y'all can't handle the truth, can you? Listen, darling, I have it, but I'll show no one until I get in Bishop Handem's presence. Those are the emperor's orders, dear. Don't feel badly if I carry them out. She looked at him appealingly. Of course, sweetheart, I want you to do just as you wish. You know more about this than I do. I was merely curious to know where you could have hidden it so successfully. I'm sorry. This is funny, though. Well, she laughed. You'll know soon enough. Gunther Handem walked to the second door now. The soldiers accompanying him stood back. They were going no further. He tapped on the door. It opened slowly, silently on its great hinges, sunk into the primordial stone. Their hearts stood still. They gasped at the sight that met their eyes. And I'm sorry, that's the end of the chapter. Oh well. And we have come to the end of our storytelling from this book. We're done now. So, yes, it's true. We're going to just leave you hanging. And you're not going to find out where Princess Zunda hid that ring. Not even a whole ring. It's a half a ring. Oh yeah, this is a half a ring. I'm curious myself as to where she hid it. I have a good idea about where she hid it, but I don't want to say what my idea is because I'm hoping that I'm really wrong and that she had somewhere else to hide it at other than the place what I'm thinking at. So I will find out. I will continue reading this story because I've got we're at chapter 15. We're going into chapter 16. There's at least almost 10 more chapters to go. It's 28 chapters in the whole book. So in the whole story. So about 30 chapters. So we're really just halfway there. Yeah, we're just halfway there. But man, George S. Schuyler, hell of a story writer. Hell of a story writer. And you have never even heard of him. Y'all out there talking about some daggone Walter Mosley. Shoot. Walter Mosley ain't got nothing on Schuyler. I'm telling you the truth. And if you know his true story, his real story, the bio is more bizarre than his fiction. Yeah, truth is stranger than the fiction. Straight up. And we're not even gonna get into that today. But I'm glad to have you all along, whoever's out there, for the journey. And I hope y'all are enjoying the stories that we've been telling. For the month of April, we're looking at a number of things that we might want to do for April. I had some ideas, but I might change my mind and do something a little different. In the meanwhile, we are going to be celebrating New Year's Day tomorrow. Yes, that's right. We're going to be celebrating New Year's Day, April 1st. And we'll talk more about that tomorrow and try and educate some of you April Fools out there. In the meanwhile, be good, stay strong, live long, and prosper. Yep, do all of those things. And don't forget to give us a like, a thumbs up, and subscribe, and then share with your friends and your family. If you could do those 4 things, I don't think that was 4 things, right? Yeah, like, thumbs up, subscribe, share. 4 things. If you could do those 4 things, we'd really appreciate it. It would do us a world of good. And in the meanwhile, peace out till tonight at 9. We'll be back here at 9 with more stories from Africa, folklore and folk tales from the African side. Peace out, y'all.